Our lecture this week for week 4 is about organization, which is a logical progression of ideas from beginning to end. I'm also going to post the full PowerPoint presentation in case you would like to click on the links or review it more slowly. Anyway, whenever you have an assignment, start with that assignment. Read the assignment sheet, make sure you know what the due date is and what's expected. How large is the project? Is it a short paragraph, which you could possibly do in less than a day's time? Or is it a substantial research paper, which may take days or even weeks to write? Choose a topic that is interesting to you. If you don't find your topic interesting in some way, it will not be interesting to your audience. And then what is your main idea? What are you trying to tell your audience? You want to make sure you know what your primary idea is in the background before you really get to start writing a major part of your work. Also, think about what you already know about the topic. You can use what you already know as a foundation. And if you have a great deal of knowledge about a topic, make sure you tell your audience how you know so much. For example, one time I had a student who wrote a paper about medicine, and he knew so many medical terms and didn't document any of his basic medical information that I really was wondering how he knew all that. So nip that in the bud and let your audience know, I've been working in a hospital for 3 years, and this is why I know this information about the cardiac ward or whatever it is that you're writing. If you need help understanding the writing assignment or the topic, you can ask your instructor, talk your assignment over with someone you trust, including a classmate, or contact SLU Writing Services. And if we do not know very much about our topic, then we may need to do some research even before we start writing the paper. One place you can do that is the SLU Library website, which is listed here. And you can also think about it, are you writing about a topic that there really is no information about? That is not a really good topic if you're going to write a research paper. Another way to do some preliminary research would be to Google your topic or to look on legitimate websites such as NewYorkTimes.com, etc. Also, once we choose a topic, we need to figure out where to begin with the actual paper. Please do not skip the pre-writing process, which includes brainstorming and listing of ideas, clustering those ideas into a preliminary outline that will help you organize your ideas. If you skip this stage, you're likely to have a disorganized paper, which will be a problem for you and your reader. Then, the thesis statement is the heart of your paper. That is your main idea. You need to pick something as your main idea. Perhaps your main idea is that we need to do more research to combat global warming, in which case that is your thesis statement, and you can change it a little bit, but you're probably not going to change it entirely, or you're writing a different paper than you started to write in the beginning. And then how does your paper end? I think about the conclusion before I really get into the nitty-gritty about the middle of a paper or a writing assignment. How are we going to get to the right place, our destination, if we don't know where it is? So if we don't know that we're driving from St. Louis to Florida or vice versa, we could end up anywhere at any time, which could be dangerous and also expensive and inconvenient. How does your paper end? Have you planned a satisfying ending to the paper? A lot of people repeat the ideas of their thesis statement, but don't use the same exact words because your instructor and other readers will notice, and it's kind of embarrassing. And then a skilled writer or speaker finds a way to circle back around to the thesis in the conclusion, kind of circle it around, which reinforces your ideas. And then there are several options for organizing a paper. These options do not work for every project, but one is chronological. If you're talking about the story of your life, you would start at the beginning or at the beginning of the story, let's say when you graduated from high school or when you were born. My example here is about how you wouldn't write about President Lincoln and talk about how he was president and then go back to when he was a country lawyer, because that would confuse the audience. And cause and effect is another way to organize a paper. If you're writing a problem and solution paper, you would describe the problem first and then the solutions to the problem. Another way you can organize papers is by dividing them into subtopics or reasons. For example, if we were writing about global warming, we might have subtopics like extreme weather, coastal flooding, and animal extinctions, which would be more like effects of global warming rather than causes. And then here's a very brief outline, and your outlines do not have to be shown to your friends, neighbors, coworkers, or your instructor. So they can be kind of messy and you can scratch them out and do them on the computer or on paper. And here's just a brief idea of how we could outline a global warming paper. It's pretty simplified, but you can see there that it is not very elaborate. So your outline doesn't have to start out fancy. You can just add to it as you go. And then you think of your outline maybe as a road map or a Google Maps screen showing a highlighted route. How can you lead your readers from the first mention of your thesis to your ending? Make sure that all the things in your paper are in a logical order. Read it out loud, maybe to catch missing words or things that don't make sense. Ask someone to read it and let you know what they think. And then, are there any sections of the paper that do not fit? For instance, sometimes I will see a paper that has really introductory material near the end of the paper and it's kind of too late for that. So you want to put things in the paper in a logical order. And then the Purdue OWL has outlines that you can look at, sample outlines. And then what if we get stuck? You can go back to the beginning of the writing process, brainstorm again, re-outline, talk to someone else about the project. Sometimes when we talk to someone, then we get ideas ourselves. Get assistance from writing services, your instructor, or from a librarian. And there's some SLU SPS research guides that are pretty helpful at this link.